and sailed to England alone. There he met the Browns and they took him home. Now a new life has begun. He's Windsor Garden's favorite son, 'cause he always does his best to help everyone. When a problem appears, he never misses a beat, and always finds a way to land on his feet. Has his very own unique point of view, looks at everything as if it's brand new. He is friendly and polite, and he tries to do things right, but he gets in sticky messes just the same. He's curious and speaks his mind, but trouble's never far behind. It's Paddington Bear, he's one of a kind.
I'm Paddington Bear. Dear Aunt Lucy, yesterday in the newspaper, I read about hundreds of people stuck underground, and I started thinking that it was time someone rescued them.
Paddington, what on earth are you doing?
Good morning, Mrs. Brown. I'm rescuing the people stuck underground.
People? Under the ground?
It says right here, hundreds stuck in underground.
Oh, Paddington, it means in the underground.
That's it, underground, down there.
Paddington, the underground is the name of a train that travels under the ground. People ride on it.
Really? There's nothing like that in darkest Peru.
Well, if you hurry up with your breakfast, Judy and I will take you for a nice ride on the underground.
Hurrying with breakfast was something I was very good at. The grapefruit, though, was a bit of a problem.
Paddington, do hurry.
I decided to take the rest of my breakfast along for later. And you never know when a nice crisp piece of bacon might come in handy.
Really? You're the stickiest bear I've ever met.
There seems to be a smell of bacon everywhere this morning. Can you smell it, Paddington?
Yes, it's very strong.
Here we are. Come along. Down we go.
Thank goodness someone's already dug the hole for us.
Now, don't lose your ticket.
An inspector may want to see it. And please stay with us. You mustn't get lost.
Bears never get lost. Sorry, but this is my bacon for later.
Paddington?
Halt! I say halt!
Shoo, I say, shoo! Dear, I have a funny feeling that today is going to be one of those days.
Yes, I certainly hope so.
The next train will be arriving in 1 minute.
Oh dear, it's happened. Paddington is lost.
Well, it happened. Judy and Mrs. Brown were lost.
Here, here, young fellow. You can't bring your dogs on the underground. Strictly against the rules.
But they're not my dogs. You see, in darkest Peru, we don't have an underground, and these dogs followed my bacon, and Judy and Mrs. Brown are lost.
Lost, you say? What do they look like?
Mrs. Brown has a hat with pink flowers. Well, just like that one.
Not so fast there.
Excuse me, Inspector. We're looking for a young bear. He's about so tall, wearing a dark blue duffel coat.
Up there.
Thank you ever so much.
They wanted my bacon that I brought for breakfast.
Oh, I'd like to get my hands on that fellow. Your lost friends are downstairs looking for you, Mr. Bear.
Mrs. Brown, Judy.
My scarf! Come back!
Hello. I'm so glad I found you.
Wait for us at the bottom, Paddington.
Oh. My suitcase!
Mrs. Brown! Judy!
Oh, I do hope Paddington will think to wait for us at the next station.
This isn't mine! My briefcase. Thank goodness.
My bacon and my marmalade sandwich. Thank goodness.
You must like marmalade.
Oh, yes. Don't you?
I have to. I travel in marmalade.
That sounds very uncomfortable.
I mean, that's my job. I sell it. Let me give you one of my samples.
Thank you very much. I've never had travelling marmalade before. Except for the marmalade my Aunt Lucy gave me for my journey over from darkest Peru.
Did you say you're from Peru?
Oh, yes. My Aunt Lucy still lives there, in the home for retired bears.
Oh, no! He's going back!
Travelling on the underground is like going in circles. I ended up right where I started.
My scarf, if you please.
Sorry.
Bringing dogs into the underground? Stealing a lady's scarf? All serious offences they are. Where's your ticket?
I didn't steal the scarf. It just got caught in my suitcase. And my ticket is... I'm sure it's here somewhere. Hope I haven't eaten it by mistake.
Eaten it? That's a very serious offence. I shall have to take you into custody.
No. I need to wait for Judy and Mrs. Brown.
Halt! I say, halt!
The red button said emergency. And if ever there was an emergency, this was it.
Ha! There you are.
Ha! There you are.
I must say, despite all the trouble you've caused, thank you for helping us catch this ruffian. We've been after him for a long time. What's your name, young fellow?
Paddington Brown.
It's an honor, I'm sure. Yes, an honor.
So, Paddington, how did you enjoy your first trip on the Underground?
Well, the inspector was rather nice. In the end... There you are. I'm afraid it must be cold by now. You're welcome.
So that's why.
Good old Paddington.
And then, me dear Lucy, I told Mrs. Brown that the next time we ride on the Underground, she should hold my paw so that she doesn't get lost again. Mr. Gruber and I were visiting the Great Wall of China for his book, The World and Its Wonders. China is also the home of fireworks, kites and dragons. So I really shouldn't have been too surprised to find myself saving a dragon from a high place.
Oh, do be careful, Mr. Brown.
What are you doing? Don't move! Thank you, Mr. Gruber.
It's a good thing Mrs. Bird lent you her umbrella.
She did say it might come in useful. Look, Mr. Gruber, I broke the dragon.
They're circus performers, Mr. Brown.
Excellent! Wonderful! That's just what a high-wire dragon act needs. A spectacular finish. My name is Jacques Jiju, and this is my traveling circus.
I am Mr. Gruber, and this is Mr. Brown. We came to watch the show after visiting the Great Wall. Neither of us have ever seen a Chinese circus before.
Sadly, that is the same with many people. As the weeks pass, the crowds grow smaller and our circus grows poorer. But now a gifted performer is among us.
Oh, yes? Where?
The bear!
Bears are good at performing, Mrs. Jiju.
Perhaps I may ask you to come tomorrow and find more ways to improve our circus, like with the dragon act.
They don't seem very happy with our improvement.
What do you say, Mr. Brown? Our circus experience would be a nice addition to my book, The World and Its Wonders.
I think I shall like being in a circus, Mr. Gruber. I wasn't sure what Mrs. Jiju was worried about. The plate spinner didn't need any help, and I couldn't think of any way to improve the balancing act. But I wanted to do a good job for Mrs. Jiju, so I decided to take a seat and watch the show. I'm sorry, I seem to have taken your seat.
I think Shah Jiju wanted us to observe, Mr. Brown, not perform. But that was a very good trick.
Coming up with ideas was proving to be very difficult. Even if Mrs. Bird says I get too many ideas for my own good. Here, let me help.
Mr. Brown! I think you'd better get down.
I only wish I could.
Come back, Mr. Brown, come back. Turn around, Mr. Brown, turn around.
Brilliant!
Oh dear, I don't think we're doing very well, Mr. Gruber.
Perhaps tomorrow, Mr. Brown. Now, I wonder where we should start today.
I have the feeling some performers would like us to start at the beginning, Mr. Gruber, before we'd even left London.
Oh, he's very good.
I'm sure he doesn't want our help.
Mr. Brown, I'm afraid I need some assistance.
So do I, Mr. Gruber.
Oh, goodness. This is most undignified.
So is this, Mr. Gruber.
We haven't come up with a single idea, Mr. Brown.
Mrs. Bird would be very disappointed.
There you are. I've been looking all over for you. I want to thank you for all your wonderful ideas.
Our ideas?
What ideas?
You see? We haven't had a crowd this big in months. Now hurry and get into costume. You'll be on soon.
On? I hope my stint in the barrel went unnoticed. I don't think I should like to repeat that performance.
And the cyclist wasn't very pleased about having fur in his eyes.
Hurry, follow me.
Shouldn't we rehearse first? Whoa! Oh, that was invigorating.
Well done, Mr. Gruber. He seemed to like our ideas, Mr. Gruber, but what'll we do for an encore?
Perhaps we can try getting down. You know, Mr. Brown, they do say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. But I think we learnt a few while we were in China.
We certainly did, Mr. Gruber. But home is where you hang your hat.
And practice makes perfect. Are you ready?
Ready, Mr. Gruber.
Alley-oop!
It was my summer birthday, and everything was wonderful. Until... Take a bath? I don't think very much of that as a birthday present.
That's not the present part. Going to dinner at the Porchester is the present. Dad has invited Mr. Gruber too.
You want to look your best. After all, the Porchester is a famous restaurant. And it's very expensive. Only the best people go there.
Your chair, monsieur. And what would you like for an hors d'oeuvre?
Excuse me?
Oh, Paddington, you are in for quite an experience. The Porchester is very hoity-toity.
Hors d'oeuvre? Hoity-toity? It all sounded very complicated. So I decided to seek Mr. Gruber's advice.
I have never been to the Porchester either, Mr. Brown. It'll be a nice change from cocoa and buns.
That's what I'm worried about, Mr. Gruber. I've never eaten in a fancy restaurant before.
There are many things to know. For example, let us pretend this is your hors d'oeuvre. Now, which fork would you use? Mr. Brown. Start from the outside and work your way in.
Start from the outside? But how can I reach my food if I'm not even in the restaurant?
I think perhaps it's a good thing you came to see me, Mr. Brown.
Dear Aunt Lucy, in case you're wondering why there are a lot of smudges on this card, it's because I'm writing it in the bath, so I'll be nice and clean for our dinner out. I thought it would be better to have a bath after I'd eaten, but Mr. Gruber reminded me that I must look my best for the Porchester.
A party of Browns. We booked a table near the orchestra?
Is the young, bear gentleman with you?
With us? We're with him.
Oh, then I'm afraid you can't come in. The young, bear gentleman isn't wearing the proper evening dress.
Bears don't have evening dress. They have evening fur.
And I've had a bath.
But the hat...
It was given to me by my uncle in darkest Peru. I'm never without it.
Oh, very well. We'll make an exception. This way, please. Monsieur.
Thank you. My menu's full of mistakes.
Mistakes? There is never a mistake on a Porchester menu.
Those aren't mistakes, Paddington. It's written in French.
And we pride ourselves in the fact that there is nothing one cannot obtain at the Porchester.
Well, in that case, I'll have a marmalade sandwich, please. With custard, since it's my birthday.
A marmalade sandwich? With custard? For dinner?
I like marmalade, and you said that one can obtain anything I want.
Excuse me, Andre. I'd like a marmalade sandwich as well. It'll make a nice change. Thank you, Andre.
As you wish, monsieur.
Incroyable! Suddenly everyone is wanting the marmalade sandwich.
I bring Paddington to one of the finest restaurants, and he wants a marmalade sandwich. Oh!
Perhaps you would care for an hors d'oeuvre while you wait?
Hors d'oeuvre? But that looks like salad.
Indeed.
Thank you. It looks like a very good bargain. And I know which fork to use.
It isn't all for you, Paddington. And you're not meant to eat it from the trolley.
I thought dining out was supposed to be fun, but there are an awful lot of things you can't do. Oh! Couldn't I have my water in a glass, please?
That's not for drinking. It's a pour bowl.
A pour bowl? But I had a bath this afternoon.
Since the young bear gentleman is having a marmalade sandwich, I assumed his paws might get sticky.
There's no might about it.
Where is Paddington?
He said something about finding his onion. I think I know where it went.
Well, don't tell Paddington. He'll only want it back.
Ah, my omelette flambe. You don't want to miss this, Mr. Brown. My omelette is on fire.
Don't worry, Mr. Gruber. I'm coming.
Oh, my omelette!
I've got my onion back.
Oh.
This was your idea, Henry.
I'm afraid I must ask you to leave. Throwing water over the food, onions in the clarinet, ordering marmalade sandwiches. You'll give the Porchester a bad name.
Nonsense. May I remind you that I ordered a marmalade sandwich too, and I'm still waiting.
I asked for custard on mine.
I think I shall ask for some as well. Huh? If that bear goes, we all go. Here, here.
Custard on both sandwiches, it shall be.
Allow me to introduce myself. I am Sir Huntley Martin, the Marmalade King. Been in marmalade for 50 years.
Fancy being in marmalade for 50 years.
Been dining here for over 30 of them, and I've never seen anyone have so much fun.
Paddington usually has fun wherever he goes.
I was a bit worried about coming to a famous restaurant like the Porchester, but luckily Mr. Gruber showed me exactly how to behave.
Oh, no need to thank me, Mr. Brown. No need at all.
2 marmalade sandwiches with custard.
Thank you very much. I think I shall always come here to celebrate my birthday in future. And I think I may need that poor bowl after all.
I'll have one of those. I'd like a marmalade sandwich too.